Welcome to CryptoBytes, the podcast where we take today's news and information in the crypto space and break it down into bite-sized chunks. I'm your host, Nick.
And this is Rob.
And remember, this is not financial advice.
But here's some general advice. If your bananas are extra ripe, turn them into banana bread.
Looking real ripe there. Looking real good.
Find the recipe in the link below. Before we start, guys, remember to smash that like button.
Hit that subscribe.
And ping the bell.
And don't forget to check out our socials at Argyros Crypto.
And at CryptoBytes Pod.
And please check out our good friend at NFTs with Keys.
But most importantly of all, guys, share the link to this vid.
And, the YouTube algorithm's not going to be pushing us out just yet, but share us with the friends, and soon enough we will be.
So big news this week. Well, it's almost like every week there's big news, but I would say this is historic.
You know, we have to give a big congratulations to you guys in El Salvador and to Bitcoin in general as a cryptocurrency.
September 7th, a day that will live in infamy.
The day that Bitcoin became the legal tender of El Salvador. Again, congratulations, guys. We've already seen some videos on the internet, some Twitter posts of Starbucks and McDonald's actually accepting transactions.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting on those two different types of corporations or corporate setups. At least United States, Starbucks is a corporate model, and McDonald's mostly is a franchise model. So there's individual operators that own those stores separate from McDonald's Corp. You're seeing those two different type of setups now accepting Bitcoin in El Salvador.
You know, it's really exciting. I think I saw the Lightning Network being used for a transaction for McDonald's. And with the Starbucks actually doing it, that's more of a corporate structure, right? Not really talking about franchising so much.
Yeah, so it'd be, at least in the United States, I'm not sure how they're set up in El Salvador or other parts of the world. But if McDonald's in these parts of the countries are accepting Bitcoin, it's not that difficult for them to start accepting it here in the U.S. So yeah, they're individual companies that run McDonald's franchises, and it will be up to the owner to either, if they would want to sell the Bitcoin right away for dollars,
right,
or to keep a portion or all the Bitcoin they receive for that transaction. And then you have Starbucks, a corporate model, top-down corporate entity accepting Bitcoin. So now they're going to be accumulating Bitcoin without having to use their cash to buy Bitcoin. They just sell coffee.
Well, what if we talk about it just at the person level, not even at the corporation level? Do you think, how do you feel about these people spending Bitcoin for a meal at McDonald's? Do you think that's a smart thing to be doing, spending Satoshis like that for a meal?
You know, I'm a little bit torn, because back in, 2009, 2010, 11, people were talking about Satoshi forum post saying it was too early at that time to be using your Bitcoin to spend on transactions. I mean, the infamous pizza guy, right? Oh yeah, right. So yes, I guess now it's a good time to start using your Bitcoin because it just gives it more strength for it to move forward. But at the same time, like that cup of coffee you're buying, that could be worth a couple $100s in the future.
Yeah, that's what I think too. The regret you're looking through your transaction history. That Starbucks, that latte I bought, oh geez, that was a $3,000 latte. Did I really need my hit of caffeine that day? Personally, I think spending Satoshi like this right now is it's an interesting use case for cryptocurrency as real fiat or fiat-like type. Well, yeah, it's fiat. You know, it's their national currency. I think it's kind of weird. Personally, I think you should be holding, because I think Bitcoin is going to be equivalent to gold as far as how it appreciates and how it's going to be a store of value. And I think these people should really be looking into, yes, getting the Bitcoin and holding it, but then utilizing some of these Chivo ATMs or some other method to turn that into a fiat and use the fiat currency for small transactions and try to hold as much of their Bitcoin as possible. Again, this isn't financial advice. This is mere speculation and what I think, but I think it would behoove people in El Salvador not to spend so much of their Bitcoin on things like a coffee or a meal and start really looking at the economics of holding.
Well, the government of El Salvador, they gave its people $30 worth of Bitcoin on September 7th.
Mm-hmm.
So think of it like a stimulus check.
That's only if they use the Chivo wallet.
Chivo, yeah, you signed up for it. You get $30 of Bitcoin. People around the world, to commemorate that day, also were buying $30 worth of Bitcoin on whatever exchange that they were on, just to commemorate the day. Hey, this is a big event. The government's giving its people, or El Salvador, $30 worth of Bitcoin. I want to commemorate this by also buying $30 worth of Bitcoin. But if it's free Bitcoin that the government's giving its people, I mean, you can spend it. I don't see the reason why not to spend it.
Well, even when you think about $30 worth of Bitcoin in El Salvador, my understanding is that your average monthly salary is about $530. $30 of free money just to use the Chivo wallet seems really big. Like, that's a large percentage not to look past.
Yeah, and now they can actually start saving in Bitcoin, so their Bitcoin will eventually be worth more in the future. So, I mean, don't spend it all in one place, right?
Right. Well, the other thing too that just to talk about the Chivo wallet a bit more is El Salvador. Your monthly income coming in the entire country, about 50% of that's through remittance or money coming in outside of El Salvador. And right now, really the only way that you're able to get it in is through, I believe it's Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo is one of the big ones.
And then I think I saw, was it Washington Mutual was another one. I believe it started with a W. I could be wrong, but I'll put the correct down in the comments.
Yeah, so there was an article also came out that said that Wells Fargo was going to lose $400 million worth of remittance payments, right? So that's a big chunk of their business, just to send money overseas.
So
$400 million worth.
Cry me a river. I did some research on that too. And seriously, these families that they have to go to a specialized building to go get this money. And the gangs in El Salvador are all hanging around those buildings because they know why they're going to the building. They're getting robbed. With this Chivo wallet, though, they can send Bitcoin to their family in El Salvador. Using the Chivo wallet, it's going to cost you nothing, essentially. And then they can go to one of the 200 new ATMs they put up to pull fiat from. Directly from there and go about life without having to worry so much.
Yeah, so the Chivo's wallet, it operates on the Lightning Network. It was pushed back, rolled out by the government. And it's an option to use. It's not mandatory. There's a lot of FUD out there. A lot of people saying the government is forcing people to use this wallet. It's not. You can use Lightning Wallet. You can use your favorite, I don't know, non-custodial Bitcoin wallet on your phone.
That's true.
That operates on the Lightning Network. It's just an option there for people who are not tech savvy.
You know, and that's one of those things that most people need to know, non-custodial. Chivos is a custodial wallet, and it's a really good idea, but it is controlled by their government. So if there were some bad actor at play, someone with malicious intent, they could freeze accounts, things like that. So it is people's choice on where they're going to hold it. And I guess it all revolves back to not your key, not your coin, but yes, as the El Salvadorian people mature in their use of Bitcoin as their national currency, I think we're also going to see a more maturation of how they're holding it and the wallet technology improve because it's a great use case.
Yeah, and this is just another domino in the Bitcoin game theory.
That's exactly it.
Right there. Now that you have a country that has Bitcoin as legal tender, businesses in that country have to take Bitcoin if it's offered to them. Now, they can sell that Bitcoin right away through the Lightning app, or I think through Chivos as well, $2, so they're not forced to hold Bitcoin. But it does mean that companies can now offer a service and take Bitcoin as payment. Now, this is going to put pressure on other countries to also start adopting Bitcoin, because I mean, if you've aware of recent events or global events, or just even keep your eye on the economy, the U.S. dollar isn't doing too well.
I really try not to think about situations where the United States dollar is no longer the world reserve currency. However exciting it may be to theorize that Bitcoin or a cryptocurrency could take its place, being a citizen of the United States, I see that being very detrimental. But again, this is only my personal thought. I could be wrong.
There's no need to worry if you hold Bitcoin. It's your like lifeboat.
Oh, you mean to tell me the cure for AIDS has been found? I just got to get $10,000, grind it up, and inject it straight into my veins? That's right. I just got to get
that
Bitcoin.
would be a little hyperbole right there. But holding a little bit of Bitcoin is going to soften the blow.
I agree. And when you're talking about holding Bitcoin, this is a nation-state land grab at this point. It's going to start off with El Salvador, and we're going to start seeing other smaller nation-states start coming together and doing this. There's now pressure on competing nations to acquire Bitcoin, even if only as a reserve asset. Even Snowden tweeted the exact same thing. And you have Charles coming in on his tweets and what he's saying, having to congratulate Bitcoin for being a fiat currency now. And Charles Hoskinson even saying in the coming years, many more nation states will use crypto as part of their monetary policy, either as reserves in their central banks or using cryptocurrency rails for central bank settlements, or potentially just making the currency itself the national currency like El Salvador did.
Yeah. And a few days after that Bitcoin law went into effect on El Salvador, you started hearing news about the Ukraine and how their Bitcoin law is also starting to legalize possession of Bitcoin.
Well, of course. I mean, the Ukraine's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, they got Russia on one side, little green men in their backyards.
Right.
And then you got also Russia putting pressure on the EU to not allow the Ukraine into the EU because of oil pipeline issues. So what are they going to do? Oh, yeah, we're not friendly to the euro and, the ruble. Okay, well, we're going to go into cryptocurrency.
Hey, that Bitcoin's looking real good. They're contacting El Salvador. Hey, how's that going over there?
Yeah, in the Ukraine, they're like the Silicon Valley of Eastern Europe when it comes to crypto and crypto development. They're very crypto friendly, crypto forward, and a lot of industry that revolves around it. They're a small country, right? They don't got a lot of exports. They have enemies on both sides of them. So how are they going to survive in this world? Well, I mean, they can start producing industry standard crypto stuff.
I never even thought about that. Could you imagine the Ukraine actually being the next hub for like DApp development, or even I don't know, maybe they're the ones that are going to be the driving force behind UTXO model and the smart contracts that are being developed there. And that could be really cool.
Well, not only UTXO, but also pushing out Ethereum updates as well. I mean, you're in an environment where you're pressured to evolve or not survive. Right. This is economic pressure that we're all in right now.
Then you know what happens when you give enough pressure to something? It turns into diamonds.
Like peanut butter. You can squeeze that down into diamonds.
Or coal. Definitely coal. Definitely.
Look
coal.
up the peanut butter thing. There's some research on that one.
You know what I did look up?
Yeah.
I looked up something called gold.
What is gold?
Oh,
is that
gold.
Boomer rock?
The precious, the boomer rock.
No.
Gold is one of those things that you always hear about. I grew up hearing about how you should invest in gold. Gold is a very smart investment.
It's always old people on the TV that are saying, invest in gold.
Or the radio. I happen to peruse through NPR every now and then, and I feel like my portfolio doesn't have enough gold in it.
I'm Willem Devane, and I like gold.
But the interesting thing to me is when I look at the numbers, you start to realize that Bitcoin is probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, appreciating asset in all of finance. Better than gold.
Yeah, Bitcoin. I recently saw a chart. It said that the $1,200 of stimulus that people received in the U.S., if they put it into like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, other, like I think there was like several other cryptos, and then gold. Yeah, Bitcoin had the biggest gain, and then it was like Ethereum. I think Cardano was like in the third.
Right.
Gold was, I think it was close to 0% gain for the whole year. So it's like, where's your money gonna move faster? Where's it gonna appreciate more?
Right.
What is really the store of value?
That's what it comes down to.
Where is that store of value?
Where is that stored value?
Yeah.
Where does it come from? And like gold doesn't even have this anymore. We can't even use gold as a standard for currency.
It used to be. It was. I mean, that's where the whole gold standard comes from. And there's been a push to have a Bitcoin standard. All right. When one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin, one Satoshi equals one Satoshi, you have the Bitcoin standard. Nothing's gonna be priced in dollars. They'll be priced in Bitcoin.
And that means, especially because it's a national currency now, countries, every nation state, anyone worth their weight in any kind of salt has to take into account what their stance is going to be on cryptocurrency, in this case, Bitcoin. But how are they going to handle that? So, to me, it seems like the smart solution for these countries is to start adopting Bitcoin now, one way or the other. Either start accumulating Bitcoin while I'm going to call it cheap currently, okay, or start turning their national currency into Bitcoin, like we saw El Salvador do, like we see these other smaller nation states coming and having conversations about this. Panama, Paraguay, Brazil. This could be huge, and we're going to see them all start coming there. But in the time of these people starting to accumulate the Bitcoin, you're going to want your national assets to start working for you. How do you get the Bitcoin that you're holding to make money for you? And with the current way that we have it, what they're really having to do is they're having to take their Bitcoin and wrap their Bitcoin and throw it into some DeFi in the Cardano space, in the Ethereum space. Sorry about that, but soon enough. But they'll wrap their Bitcoin, throw it into some DeFi thing in the Ethereum world, and just completely lose custody of their asset.
Or just park it in BlockFi.
And completely lose custody of their asset.
Yeah, so there's really no way to gain interest on your Bitcoin without losing custody of it at this time.
So it leads me to believe that these nation states are going to have to start looking into something better. And when you start looking into what's potentially better, you have to start having the conversation of proof of stake. When you look at proof of stake, you're seeing the economic benefit of proof of stake, and you're also seeing the way to get your money back. Especially with something like Cardano, where you can now keep all of your cryptocurrency, you can stake your cryptocurrency and expect about a 5% back yield, while also maintaining custody of your asset. It doesn't need to leave your wallet. You know where all of your ADA is at all time. But this is just an example. It could be another proof of stake cryptocurrency at the time, but this is something that I've been thinking about as well. As Bitcoin becomes more adopted, it means good news for the rest of these cryptocurrencies.
Oh, it's also, I guess, good news for Bitcoin itself. You have networks like Cardano, like Emergo. They're all UTXO based. They're basically leading the way for how Bitcoin smart contracts could operate in the future too.
Yeah, that's a good point. If something like Cardano takes off, any kind of UTXO playing around and programming, that gives hope to a Bitcoin-based smart contract. All this talk about cryptocurrency in the future and finance using it. You know who else also lips are probably salivating from all of this?
What?
The SEC. It's probably the SEC.
Oh,
they're getting there.
Yeah. I guess it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So Coinbase, I guess they were trying to do the right thing. They asked the SEC for clarity on if they can do this lending feature on their platform, and the SEC, and we've been speaking about this. They want more regulatory oversight over securities and crypto itself. So they responded to Coinbase with no, and if you move forward with it, we will pursue legal action.
I was reading through some of that too. It was more of Coinbase coming up, and they're just, well, can we do this lending on our platform? This is kind of how we want to do it. SEC, yeah, no, that lending's a security. Excuse me.
Yeah, how is it a security? How is that? And Coinbase, I mean, they aired their laundry out in public, and they were crying. They should have never asked to begin with. You have platforms like BlockFi, like Celsius. They're already doing lending. You can buy crypto on BlockFi.
Aren't these companies American as well? Running on U.S. soil?
Well, they operate in the United States. Yeah, most of them. Celsius, I'm not sure, but they do have features in the United States where you can put your Bitcoin up to be borrowed against or to lend it out. You receive a yield on that. And at the same time, you can also buy crypto on their platform. And buy their crypto, or their specific crypto too.
So do you think that the SEC is going to be coming out and doing some blanket blanket kind of regulation on all of these cryptocurrencies, or do you think it's going to start like coming after the big name players first?
I think if you're going to have a company like Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, sorry, a company like Coinbase asking for permission, they're just going to say no right off the bat. And then Coinbase, like we saw, they're going to cry to the people like, oh, what, the SEC won't allow us to do this. You should have just done it and then you know, deal with the consequences afterwards. There's already precedent for platforms similar as yourselves to do it. Actually, no, because Coinbase is a publicly traded company.
Yep.
So they should have just done it. I mean, if they wanted clarity, just go ahead and do it.
Well, do you think we're going to get more potential clarity on this once the decision for the Van Eck Bitcoin ETF comes through?
Yeah, so that's still a big. That's a big one. I think if that ETF does come out, it's going to be worded in such a way that I think there's only going to be one.
You think so?
It's just going to be Bitcoin. Otherwise, they're going to be seeing like a basket, right? ETFs is going to have a basket of cryptos in there, similar to what Grayscale has.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you know. Well, if that ends up going that route, guess who's putting their retirement in the basket of cryptos? you know what I mean?
I mean, you can already do that now by buying the their Bitcoin fund.
But even on that, they pushed the date back to actually taking a look at that to November 14th now. So that'll be exciting. After the 14th, we'll actually get to see if that's happening.
Yeah, but you can just buy Bitcoin now.
Yeah,
you
should buy
that
Bitcoin
ETF. It's really for like the older folks who, I guess, don't know how to store their Bitcoin. They can just use their retirement money in their trading accounts.
You're right, probably the older folk that are a little bit intimidated to get into the crypto game because it seems like there's a lot of things you have to do. You have to learn about wallets. You know, you have to go through all of this vocabulary and jargon that we use weekly. And it's probably easier for them to put their money into like an ETF like that because it's familiar to them. Speaking of familiar, I think you and I both know big name company MasterCard's trying to get their hand in the crypto game.
Yeah, and I just find it funny might be the word.
Okay.
After Visa bought their NFT.
So hot.
Yeah.
So hot.
Weeks out. now MasterCard wants to get into the crypto space. They recently acquired a company, CipherTrace. They do blockchain forensics.
Okay.
They're backed by the Department of Homeland Security. It's stated directly on their website.
Yep.
Kind of spooky, kind of glow in the dark, but MasterCard, I mean, to me, it's just a step forward. They might be doing a blockchain for their credit card network.
But I mean, if you're using something like CipherTrace that's doing blockchain forensics, that begs the question: what exactly are their plans in the crypto space?
Well, to trace transactions, of course, and not. I mean, so forensics is just one thing they do. They also set up different programs, right? They help people with their business that they want to get into the crypto space.
Okay.
So I mean, again, you have these MasterCards at merchants. You swipe your card, it goes through a specific rail, the MasterCard rail. The merchant gets hit with a fee. And generally, it's more expensive than Visa. So this could just be them trying to lower their network fees with a blockchain option.
And honestly, it could also be them trying to create that truly first crypto card.
True. Yeah, they might actually want to have Bitcoin, right? So again, we have McDonald's in El Salvador and Starbucks accepting Bitcoin. Why not a credit card company? So this is just another way for them to be able to do that.
Well, it seems like the crypto world really is the Wild West, and we've got companies coming all out of the woodwork trying to get their hands in the crypto game.
Yeah, it's exciting times, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time before we get more movement in Bitcoin, and I think with that, we're gonna wrap up the show.
Don't forget, guys, check out the socials at Argyros Crypto, at CryptoBytes Pod. Please check out my boy Keys at NFTs with Keys.
Yeah, share the link, smash the like,
hit that subscribe button,
and ping the bell.
And have a good week, guys. Argyros Crypto checking out. Deuces.